Worldwide Hippies presents Hippie News and Stuff with Winston Smith and the Worldwide Hippies News Team.
Welcome to Hippie TV News and Stuff for the week of February 22nd. Brought to you by WorldwideHippies.com, citizen journalism on the web. I am Winston Smith. Homeland, Biosecurity, and the United Nations go Dutch. Afghanistan, the new economic model for the United States. The doc gets a little silly. Ed Croft has some food for thought. Our new, probably short-term co-anchor Wendy Starr on just which table salt tastes the best. The Mikel K Never a Minute. Do you believe in magic? If not, please explain Fizzies. You remember them? I'll have a special report for you on gas prices. We have good cop, bad cop. Hippie woman has another wonderful piece on something. Doesn't really matter what. Anything Hippie reports on is always interesting, informative, fresh, and entertaining. We also have our asshole of the week. Top story. Winston Smith gets hippie woman her parking space back. Now here's the boss with a special announcement. Thanks, Winton. Worldwide Hippies is excited to announce that our new book, Hip Poetry, was released last week. Hip Poetry 2012 was published by Win Publications. Available now on Amazon and other fine booksellers. Hip Poetry will also be available this week at the WorldwideHippies.com website. The book includes poetry, essays, and fiction from more than 50 of the most renowned and well-versed artists of our time. Some representative of the hippie era, some younger, fresher voices also, but all having the hippie ethos. That is the vitality and heart of Worldwide Hippies. Hip Poetry 2012 is a totally original work like no other. I would like to thank all of the wonderful people that volunteered their time and were committed to seeing this book become a reality. And to all the great authors who donate their works to this book, I personally thank you. Your belief in Worldwide Hippies and your willingness to help support our efforts leaves me humbled and forever grateful. Back to you, Winton. Chief, but the name is Winston Smith. My picture's on the cover of the book. Everybody can see. Winston Smith, not Winton. Anyway, here's the doc.
What's up, Doc?
Hola, hippies. Paz en el barrio, Winston. Thank you for the kind words and bugs. Well, you know how we do. Talk a little today about externalities. Vocabulary word. MBAs are examples of what I call imaginary degrees that the business community insisted universities should start granting to confer spurious legitimacy on and provide specious credentials for the altogether a-theoretical and even anti-philosophical thieveries of grubby, grasping commercial capitalism. I can give you the essentials of an MBA in 5 sentences, and for only $1,000. Which is a fraction of what they charge you at Wharton, so pay attention. No, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but one of those sentences is privatize profit and socialize cost. Externalized costs are those costs in the production process which are borne by external agencies or agents. Defined by one source, they are negative impacts, that is to say probably non-profitable impacts associated with economic transactions which concern people outside those transactions, meaning that neither the buyer nor the seller bears the brunt of those costs. One commodity or product which is the beneficiary, of course, of huge amounts of externalization would be our use of fossil fuels. The external costs generated by the exploitation of petroleum are not included in the price we pay when we acquire and or expend them. We do not see, for example, and usually do not even know, except on the rare occasions when there is a massive interruption, as which happened in the Gulf a couple of years ago, that those costs are paid by us in existential bills. Not necessarily in cash that we dispense, but by massive resource depletion, pollution, environmental degradation, and the uncharted impacts, so far, on public health. The price that consumers pay for fuels they use, especially in the US of A, seldom reflects any of those actual costs, beyond those required to acquire and process the resource. Industry has been incredibly adept at externalizing costs while maximizing its profits at the expense of an entire ecological environmental system on the planet. Really, think the tar sands, the scars of which are visible from space. Industry rapes for its convenience, but we lie back and let it happen. Triple the current cost of gas to curtail emissions disaster, the climatologists argue. We cannot continue current insatiable consumption of petroleum like we're doing if we want anything like our civilization to survive. The patterns of consumption we have generated are literally killing ours and most other, or many other, mammalian species. It's an ecocide. $100 gasoline per gallon would not cover the social and environmental costs of driving cars powered by burning fossil fuels. Oh, you want to know the other 4 MBA-worthy sentences, hippies? Well, is the check in the mail? Ask me about it when I see you at the beach. Back to you, Winston, Hippie Central, my brother. Pause.
Thanks, Doc. Works for me. A new United Nations-backed survey has found that most workers in Afghanistan's brick kilns are bonded child laborers. Both adult and child laborers work more than 70 hours a week. In addition, the brick kilns rely almost entirely on debt bondage, and workers and their families are tied to a kiln by the need to pay off loans taken for basic necessities, medical expenses, weddings, and, of course, funerals. On paper, both the Karzai regime and the United States say that bonded labor is illegal. In reality, nothing has been done to stop it. There are no penalties imposed by the U.S. for any corporation or individual exploiting children or labor in this way. By using a system of advances on future wage payments that bond laborers and their families, kiln owners are able to ensure a regular labor supply at a low cost. And the multinational corporations are ensured of a regular supply of bloody profits. Now, here with some food for thought is Ed Croft.
Oh, hey, Winston. How you doing? Hey, did you ever get that sandwich out of the refrigerator? I think that thing's about ready to grow legs. You know, speaking of food, I was reading an article recently about this taurizine, what we know as yellow number 5. Now, according to an English study, this taurizine causes hyperactivity in children. And you have to start to wonder, you know, the FDA is approving this while in Europe, and especially in England, they have to put warning labels on packages that contain this stuff. But it gets by here in the U.S. But then again, so does a lot of things. I mean, we have aspartame, we have we've had saccharin, we've had all these other things that the FDA just approves. All these chemicals that we put into our bodies, and we don't know what the impact is going to be. I mean, personally, I stay away from anything that says diet on it. If it says diet, the first words probably say aspartame, and I avoid that stuff at all costs. I try to eat a lot of natural things, a lot of fruits and vegetables and everything. But you have to wonder, because even now, you have to question it. I mean, look at BT corn. BT corn was developed by Monsanto so that it had a pesticide. It created its own pesticide to kill the cutworms that would destroy the crops. That's all well and good. But the question I've never heard asked, if the corn is developing a pesticide so when the cutworms eat it, they die, we can't wash that off. It's not a spray-on. It's in the plant. Isn't that getting in our systems? Don't we have enough toxic crap going into our systems? You know, I really don't understand where the FDA is going. And it just seems to me more, especially with the hiring of Taylor from Monsanto, that the FDA is just like the SEC who was sitting there watching pornos while the financial markets collapsed, or the MMC who was making sweet deals to the oil companies and everything, and you know, allowing the oil companies to write regulations that they didn't even follow the regulations that the industry wrote for itself, So we had the BP disaster. But this is our food. You would think this would be the one place where the government would really be watching out for the people, because they gotta eat this crap themselves. Check the labels. Be sure what you're putting in. Try to buy as much organic. I know the stuff is expensive, but try to buy as much organic as you can. I love y'all. My heart to your heart. One heart, one spirit. Back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Ed. By the way, that sandwich, it's in Wendy Starr's Josie and the Pussycat lunchbox now. Now, here, because I have no say in it, is the woman after my job and the boss's niece, Wendy Starr, to tell you which table salt tastes the best.
Everyone knows Wendy.
Thank you, Winston, and greetings from the Windy City. Now, Winston, I know I was supposed to do an entertainment review this week, but upper management has thrown me a more urgent story. Gasoline prices. The cost of filling up at the pump drops in February, usually due to midwinter weather conditions slowing us down into a sort of hibernation. If the price of gasoline keeps rising at this rate, drivers will be paying an average of $4 to $6 per gallon by springtime. That makes this the priciest year ever for gasoline. If it's not demand, what's causing this rate hike? Some of it might be due to a preemptive effort, due to expectation that prices will rise even more substantially in the near future. Why? It could be due to a matter of rising oil prices. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says that the cost of crude oil makes up about 80% of the price of a gallon of gasoline, in addition to refining, distribution, marketing, and taxes. More expensive oil, more expensive gas. Is that the only reason? Are politics involved? What's your theory? At any rate, hold on to those pennies. The price of gasoline is only expected to rise. Winston, back to you.
Thanks, Wendy, for that informative stab in the back. Windy City, my ass, you are a valley girl. And this just in. World's smallest chameleon discovered in Madagascar. Hey, this was supposed to be Wendy Starr's story for next week. Anyway, scientists have discovered 4 new species of super tiny chameleons in Madagascar, according to a new paper in the +1. The smallest of the new species is found only on the small island of Nosy-Hera and has been dubbed the smallest chameleon in the world, measuring from nose to tail 29 millimeters or 1.14 inches at its largest. Scientists believe it represents a notable example of island dwarfism. And this, mammal-adapted influenza, AH5N1 virus has been discovered. Well, not really discovered, but created. Scientists here in the United States have created a genetically altered strain of the deadly avian flu virus. Now, the United Nations and a federal advisory board have declared it's a grave concern to public safety and should be kept under wraps. What was not said was that Big Pharma here in the United States wants to own a patent on the newly deadly virus, enabling only them to supply future antiviral medicines to combat the mammal-adapted influenza AH5N1 virus. Should it get out. But the money is in the new life form patents. Dutch researchers want all information about the mammal-adapted influenza AH5N1 virus to be published in the Journal of Science, allowing scientists worldwide to examine the process and help develop some sort of antiviral agent for this possible worldwide contagion. Scientists and public health officials have long feared that the Asian bird flu virus, which now rarely affects people, could become a human-to-human disease. Fear no more. It is, and humans created it. Now, here's the creative Mikel K Minute.
All right, hey, it's Mikel K. I'm at, where am I at? I'm in Florida. No, I'm in Georgia, the Wild Animal Safari. I got my friends here. I don't know the name. They're my friends as long as I have food. I got food for these animals here. We got the wild animals, the buffalo. I don't know, are you a buffalo? What about this sheep? Can you see the sheep? The cow, or whatever it is? It's a lamb, I think. I don't know what it is, but here I am. All right, go away. Let someone else go. Come on. Come here, buddy. Come here. All right, there's my new friend. Oh, ooh, tried to take my fingers with him. Ooh. All right, I think I've done this poem before for you here on the K Moment. Oh, anyway, hey, Winston. Sorry, got so excited about my animal friends, I forgot about saying hey to Winston. Hey, Winston. Hey, Winston. We've done Look at the Bums before, but I think, you know, in light of these animals here at the George Orwell Animal Farm type setup, that Look at the Bums would be a good one. Look at the bums. Here another one comes. Last week, maybe they had a job at a factory, but they downsized. CEO got a bonus for thinking that way. Everybody, especially the stockholders, thinks that he's a great man. Eats off $10,000 plates at the White House. Shakes the right hands. Here comes a bum. Where'd the bums go? Here comes a bum. Got a tear in his eye. I immediately criticize. Say that he is a crack addict who'll want a quarter from me. He asks for money for food. Why don't you get a job? Why don't you get a job like me? See, you and me, we're living in the land of opportunity. Oh no, I just lost my job. I've got a job to feed these guys. Look at this cute little thing. Can you see him? Come here. All right. Whoa, gonna take my hand off again. There we go. Here we are, somewhere in Georgia. Back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Michael. Got a little spittle on your car seat, man. We'll be right back.
Your company is now bankrupt. Our economy is in a state of crisis, but you get to keep $480 million. I have a very basic question for you.
Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic?
Thanks, Winston. Hola, hippies. Residents in Yokosuka, near Tokyo, are objecting to a plan to bury incinerated disaster debris from eastern Japan at a site in their neighborhood. Representatives of 10 community groups delivered a letter to the local governor on Friday, seeking a retraction of the disposal plan. The community groups are concerned that the wreckage from the disaster zone could be contaminated with radioactive fallout from the Fukushima nuclear accident. They say the governor decided to accept the debris without consulting residents, and that the disposal site lacks equipment safety for contaminated ash. The group are also concerned over possible rumors about contamination that could hurt local farmers and fishermen. Tokyo is so far the only prefecture outside the disaster-hit Tohoku region that has accepted debris for final disposal. Shimada City in Shizuoka, central Japan, has indicated it will follow Tokyo, but it is first burning some disaster debris to test radiation levels in the ash. This is good news. This was posted back on 17th. They went ahead and okayed upping the baby formula limits from 50 becquerels per kilogram to 100 becquerels per kilogram. The insanity continues, that is Japan. Enjoy what you can, everybody. Back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Magic. Oh, by the way, our secretary's name is Susan. She works Monday through Friday, man. If you want to know more about your employee benefits, you'll have to ask Sue, not me. Now it's time for Good Cop, Bad Cop. Josh Powell was a suspect in his wife Susan Powell's 2009 disappearance. He also was raping his children. To avoid paying for his crime, on February 5th this year, he attacked his sons with a hatchet and set his house on fire, killing himself and his sons. Some family members now want to bury Josh Powell, murderer and child rapist, next to his sons. Now, meet Pierce County Sheriff Sergeant Ed Troyer and Sheriff Paul Pastor. They used their own personal money and funds from Crime Stoppers, Tacoma Pierce County, to buy burial plots in Woodbine Cemetery at Tacoma, Washington, next to Josh Powell's boys, Charlie and Brandon, in order to block family members from burying asshole Powell next to them. The bottom line is, Josh Powell will not be near those boys again, said Sergeant Troyer. Pierce County Sheriff Sergeant Ed Troyer and Sheriff Paul Pastor, good cops, good people. Now meet Officer Name Not Released. He makes up evidence against people. Watch this.
A shocking case, a police officer caught on tape suggesting they could make up evidence.
And the video we discovered really makes that case. It's about two young men caught and arrested, though it later turns out this is a case of wrongful arrest. But the most shocking part is what the officer tells one of the young men when he's booking him.
Well, you're going to jail for robbery, that's all. Robbery? Yeah, I'm going to make stuff up. For robbery? Here on out.
Listen again.
Yeah, I'm going to make stuff up.
corrupt Seattle Police Department refuses to name this most vile human being. So for now, until we can find his name out, officer hope you end up in a cell with an insane cop hater, bad cop, disgusting human being. Now, taking time away from her lectures at UCLA is Hippie.
Hi, Winston. Whether you're planning to make a purchase online or just doing some comparison shopping, the internet is a valuable tool. Many of us use online consumer reviews to provide us with input on a product or company. However, you might not always be getting honest, reliable information from online reviews. An article's been published titled 9 Reasons Why You Shouldn't Trust Online Reviews, and it's a real eye-opener. The article highlights some shady business that's been going on under our noses for years. It's definitely worth a read, but I've done the work for you, so I'll give you the Cliff's Notes. Fake reviews happen every day, and companies pay for it. On sites like Fiverr.com and Freelancer.com, fake review writers offer their services for as little as $5 per review. If it's not money that's offered to the public, companies bribe consumers for coupons, freebies, and other goodies in exchange for their online review. It's no surprise that the showering of gifts buys positive online reviews. The article cites an example of an Amazon customer who posted 12 5-star reviews for a particular company. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that the man was an employee for said company. It happens more than we think. Think you're clever enough to spot the fakes? Don't be too sure. Up to 30 to 40% of online reviews are fake and very convincing. Many doctors, dentists, and other professionals have their clients unknowingly sign a confidentiality agreement prohibiting them from posting online reviews for their services. One man posted a review of his doctor on Yelp and DoctorBase and was threatened with a $100,000 lawsuit for defamation, slander, and libel. I bought a pair of glasses from a seller on Amazon.com. When I received the glasses, the packaging contained a Prop 65 warning label cautioning me that the product might contain lead. When I gave my honest opinion, I gave them 4 out of 5 stars. Not too bad. It had prompt service and the product was as advertised, but they might want to write on the product description that the product might contain lead instead of sneaking it in there after it was shipped. I got quite the response. I thought they were writing to apologize and to assure me that their product was safe, but you know what? If you plan on giving us less than a 5-star review, you need to notify us prior to doing so. And you sold me a product that might contain lead that's going on my face. And if you write me a pissed off email telling me that I need to ask your permission before posting a less than 5-star review, no. Keep posting honest reviews, good or bad, and don't let companies tell you what to do. And shop safely. By the way, congratulations, Wendy, on your new anchor position. Way to cut me in the lunch line. Back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Hippie. Always nice to see your reports. So well done. Oh, I hear it's time for our Asshole of the Week. This week it's a twofer. The EPA and the USDA both are about to sign off on 2,4-D pesticide use. The herbicide 2,4-D, one half of the infamous defoliant Agent Orange, according to opednews.com, once signed off on, Dow Chemical and Monsanto will join forces to poison America's heartland. These two biotech giants have developed a weed management program that, if successful, will go a long ways towards a predicted doubling of harmful herbicide use in America's corn belt during the next decade. The problem for corn farmers is that superweeds have been developing resistance to Monsanto's herbicide Roundup, which is being sprayed on millions of acres in the Midwest and elsewhere. Dow AgroScience developed a strain of frankencorn that it says will solve the problem. The new genetically modified variety can tolerate 2,4-D, which will kill off the Roundup-resistant weeds, but leave the corn standing. Farmers who opt into the system will be required to double their dose on their fields of the deadly cocktail of Roundup Plus 2,4-D, both of which are manufactured by Monsanto. Researchers say 2,4-D may be a risk factor in conditions like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which was often found in Vietnam veterans exposed to Agent Orange. The fucking EPA has stated itself that the chemicals have endocrine disruption potential and interferes with the human hormonal system. It has also been shown to be toxic to honeybees, birds, and fish, according to research conducted by the U.S. Forest Service, and others. The tax-funded EPA and the USDA are supposed to be watchdogs for the Americas, keeping harmful processes, chemicals, and invasive species from harming folks. Instead, they are more like feral dogs whose leashes are held by the chemical corporations themselves. And for that, you, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the United States Department of Agriculture are worldwide hippies, assholes of the week. That's it for this week. Please visit worldwidehippies.com for more citizen journalism as well as news and commentary 24/7. And pick up a copy of Hip Poetry, knowing that when you do, you are directly helping us to keep up the howl for peace and justice. And you will see The Doc, Wendy Starr, Ed Croft, Mikel K. Poet, Nibiru Magick, Hippie Woman, and yours truly, Winston Smith, here next month.